Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bearded Men of Real Estate Show. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Colin. Oh, man.
Colin. Colin's already here. I'm here, but not by choice.
Yeah, we're making you be here today.
Strapped him to the chair today.
Yeah. I had one job. I couldn't even say my own name. So hi, Dan. I did it.
And we are the Bearded Men of Real Estate. This is a show dedicated to real estate, more so than bearded men. However, your hosts happen to be gorgeous bearded men.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are watching this live, you could comment just like comment just like Colin did, and then we could talk about you or your comment. Most of the time, we talk about the comment. We have a ton of news today.
Most of the time.
Unless
we haven't had any shade thrown today, then we might throw some shade.
Yeah, we always need a little shade.
Brought to you by...
We don't have a sponsor yet. No sponsors yet either. Okay, so I put in the I thought this was kind of one of the more clever descriptions of the show. It's up and away on Be More Today. See, it rhymed.
And there's lots of up today. Lots of up for the last year, for this coming year. Lots of
builders are booming, housing demand's growing, rates are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Is DTI going away?
Ooh, and should it? We might do a little shallow or a little deep dive on that. I'd love to get thoughts on that one.
Somebody should tag lender friends, because I definitely want to hear more.
If you're physically next to your lender friends, go physically tag them very hard and then say, "Hey, Melon, get your suit on. We need you."
Monica Laws says, "Hi guys from South OC,
Orange County."
And Melissa Morris says, "Nice ears, Dan." Then I have to say, your ears are rather nice today.
Thank you. I didn't want to quote unquote do my hair, so I put kitty ears on.
I didn't want to do my hair either today, but I was forced to anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a lot of headlines to cover.
Yeah.
Colin JJ Cameron said all Dan Ludwig needs is a whip.
Who says I don't have one?
We have a ton of news to cover today, but before you get into all that, Dan, would you tell everyone what the show is actually all about? It's more than kitty ears and beards.
I'd love to. Now, when Ray and I met, it was 1986. Do you remember 1986?
1986.
We were young upstarts in the Air Force. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Top.
Remember that when
we were top? We
were top and we would go up and away.
Yeah.
Literally just thought of this as you went through your title. Remember, we were like, gosh, I just want to be the best out there. I want to take the highway to the danger zone. Remember that? Okay, no, Ray and I did not meet in the Air Force, and we were not badass jet fighters, but I think we both believe in our heads that we do.
Yeah, kind of.
Or that we have. I'm currently fighting in a jet right now for a transaction, so it feels like that. But no, we met, gosh, it's going on almost 3 years. We met here on the interwebs, and when we met, so I had already had an idea for a show because I am in fact a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
Watching every motion in my foolish lover's game.
He has a very beautiful, sultry voice.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you guys know that? Did you guys know Ray could sing? There's been times where we've been lucky enough to get a little.
That's true.
Singing Ray, and it's amazing.
Little every now and then.
But yes, he does have a beautiful singing voice. But I noticed that he had a beard as well, and he also had a form. Just sing, just subtly under me while I go through.
Right, underneath, I'll back up from the mic.
Yeah. So he had a format show for the show, and it was the same format that we do today, same rundown we do. Both Ray and I love to give value up front as agents and as humans. So it's more about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
Watching in slow motion.
I wonder how that's going to sound for the audio people, for the podcasted listeners.
Take my breath away. Come on, everybody now.
Take my breath away.
Melissa Mara says, that's Colin. He said, I would bop that baritone. Whoa, Melissa Mars said, voice of an angel. Ray and Heather should do a duet.
Ooh. Yeah, if you guys don't know Heather Haas, first of all, you should.
She's amazing.
Second of all, beautiful voice.
Melissa points out that they were Navy fighters.
They were. Thank you so much. Yes.
Out on a technicality.
They were. Yeah, and as I said it, usually I bring up something, but I thought of it late. But yes, you are totally correct. Just like last week when I took credit for
song from that movie. Do you know what the most famous song from that movie is?
It's not Highway to the Danger Zone.
That is a famous song, but it's not the most famous song.
And it's not Take My Breath Away?
Nope. It's the bar scene. It's an old song.
Ooh.
Do you remember that? Who can name that tune? Who can name that tune? It's the bar scene, Top Gun. It's famous.
I can Google real quick though.
All right, we'll give someone a point. Whoever names that tune. Melissa Mars is calling me a nerd right now. Are you calling me a nerd? I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. A face emoji with glasses and a beard.
I know it now, so I'm not going to tell you guys, but I know it now. Yep.
All right. So you ready to get into the headlines?
Whoa. That's your hint. That's it. Name that tune.
Name that tune.
Are we ready to do it?
Yeah, let's do this thing. I got a notice yesterday that a thing we need to make actual sounds come through the computer is being shipped. And it should be here. Uh-huh.
Whoa.
There it is. You've lost that love and feeling.
Whoa.
Love and feeling. Yeah, there you go. All right. Melissa Marf.
Now it's gone. All right.
So she's ahead of everybody today with 1 point. We will award more points throughout the show, and whoever ends with the most points today has won the game. All right, so let's talk about the housing market falling short by nearly 4 million homes as demand grows. It's a very specific number that they were able to calculate and tabulate using the mathematicians and economists. This report from CNBC says home building took a sharp turn higher to end 2019. But it's far from enough to satisfy the current demand. The U.S. housing market is short nearly 4 million homes, according to an analyst, according to an analysis from Realtor.com. Analyzing the U.S. Census data, the report showed that the 5.9 million single-family homes built between 2012 and 2019 do not offset the 9.8 million new households formed during that time. Even with the above-average pace of construction, it would take builders between 4 and 5 years to get back into a balanced market. Good time to be a builder, y'all. The shortfall today can be blamed on the epic housing crash of more than a decade ago, brought on by an irrational and unscrupulous mortgage lenders. Lending is what it says, but I said lenders. With loans available to even the riskiest buyers, builders responded by putting up 1.7 million in single-family homes at the peak of the construction boom in 2005. According to the U.S. Census, that was about 5 million more than the 20-year average. Then it talks about the lion's share of mortgages being diluted and how builders are crawling back after that. Here's a good quote, though. Simply put, new home starts are not keeping with the demand. Home builders have a mountain of opportunity, but a big hill to climb, said Xavier Vivas, Director of Economic Research at Realtor.com. The current inventory crisis and the need for 3.8 million new homes means that nearly insatiable appetite for potential buyers, especially at the lower end of the market. And what do we know about builders building in the lower end of the market, Dan?
Doesn't happen.
No. So what? So all to that point, so this article is like, builders hope. Builders are getting hope. You can build stuff. Yeah, just go build stuff. Put stuff up there at the low end of the market.
And then they're like, excited. Like, oh, yeah, let's go build more. Oh, at the low end? No.
By the way, Dan Mack had a wrong guess. Great Balls of Fire. That is a good song, but I don't think that's in the movie.
Goodness gracious. Great Balls of Fire.
So goodness gracious, they're not building enough homes, but we need more homes at the lower end of the market. So who's going to do it? Melissa Marr says it doesn't happen, but it should.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've been on a mission. I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook and the Instagram, but D-Letter Groks everywhere. We'll cover that at the end of the show. But I've been on a mission to find new construction around me that has no Mello-Roos and either no or very low HOA, and I found a few.
Oh, that's good.
the bigger builders and the bigger developments, always with Melrose. Sometimes Melrose, by the way, in case you haven't seen all the shows, Melrose is a special assessment tax that goes on top of your property. Property.
It was a delicious dessert.
Your tax base. It's very yummy, but it's also very unnecessary. So I have been on a mission to find those, and there are a few around here. There's one in Upland. There's one right by me here, but they're smaller developments. So meaning usually under 100 homes. Not like a big old community kind of thing.
We just don't have a lot of affordable housing. I think under 250 would be very affordable in our area, and there's just not a lot that's built in that price range. There's some like from 230 to maybe 300, but we really need a lot in the 200 to 250.
Man, if we had
checking in, she says hello from rainy North Cali. I almost said Carolina, North California.
Northern California.
Hello.
It's raining.
She's got a really cool avatar profile. Is it they called avatars or profile?
Profile
back in the day, we used to call avatars.
David Fresquez.
David's checking in. Doesn't he work with builders a lot?
He does. He's and he's also south of me in San Diego area. So we got all of Southern California right here.
Yeah, all of we could just do a whole California thing.
Yeah.
Hey, David, I'm going to post an article for you to check out that I think you find interesting. It's one I just read if you missed it. But it was talking about home builders, how now is the time to build, but they're not really building in the price range that needs to be built to satisfy all the demand. So there you go.
Now, if only we had some more stats about housing starts.
Stats and facts. Well, we are the show of stats and facts, Dan.
Oh, look, right here. Just literally popped in as I said it. Wow. Our producers are good. Like so, Ray, did you know that housing starts rose 3.2% in 2019?
I only know that because I tune into a Bearded Men of Real Estate show.
Weekly, you tune in, actually.
I do. Actually,
you're one of our best viewers.
I watch the show every week.
Not after we're done, just while we're doing it. All right. More single-family and multifamily homes are coming onto the market soon as new home construction posts its biggest gains in 13 years. Then Ray mentioned 13-ish years ago when they were giving loans to too many people. Total housing starts rose nearly 17% in December to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.61 million units, the U.S. Commerce Department reports. Broken out, starts for single-family homes rose 11.2% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.06 million in December. The multifamily sector, which includes apartment buildings and condos, climbed nearly 30%. Dude, that's a lot. By the way, stay tuned at the end of this article because there's like a wah wah at the very end. Now, this is a quote from Danushka Nana Yakara Skillington. And that's her name. And I think I nailed it. Danushka Nana Yakara Skillington. She is the vice president of forecasting and analysis at the National Association of Home Builders. The year ended on a high note with solid gains in single family and multifamily production. And while the December estimates will likely be revised down, the trend moving forward is still possible. Facing a lingering housing shortage across the country, I don't know if it's lingering or if it's happening. The National Association of Realtors has long advocated for more new home construction, so of the Bearded Men of Real Estate, to accommodate growing demand. Now, this is a quote from Greg Ugaldi. We should call him and see how to say his name.
Yeah, that's true.
The solid housing production numbers are in line with strong builder sentiment, supported by a low supply of existing homes, low mortgage rates, and a strong labor market. Now, here's the regional part. Regionally, combined single-family and multifamily housing starts saw the largest uptick in December in the South and in the Northeast. South was up 8.6%, and the Northeast was up 3%. Meanwhile, housing starts fell. They fell 4.7% in the West and by 0.8% in the Midwest. Where are you considered, Ray? Are you South or are you Southwest?
On some of those, it kind of varies. I don't know which map they're using. Is there a map? Associated map?
Here, let me go to the.
Usually, we're in the South Central, if it exists.
Let me see if there's. I don't think there was a map on this one because you are not mentioned.
Hey, boys. David says we are buying land and rezoning to make residential in order for it to pencil out. He said our biggest issues are land costs to buy and build.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Land, labor, materials. Materials are kind of down compared to what they were. But yeah, land is the sticking point. Usually we're in the South, but
so
in our market, it's relatively insignificant compared to others. We have seen an uptick in housing starts, but it's not going to make a huge impact on the national real estate market. What
yeah, if Little Rock starts building now,
I mean, it'll make a real big impact locally.
Yeah. Well, all those numbers are great, but then you go to the West number and it fell. Everything rose by quite a bit, and then it fell in the West, which is I'm part of that. 4.7% it fell. And we're short on houses, and things are too expensive, and we need things to be in that affordable price range, in the lower price range. So builders should be flocking to Southern California.
Well, it seems that a slight tick in the mortgage rates won't stymie the demand.
Where'd you get that from?
Oh, in the next article. I'm glad you asked.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So this one is from the Realtor publication that you all pay for if you're a realtor. The 30-year, this is from Realtor magazine. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 3.65 this week, continuing to entice home buyers into the market with cheaper financing opportunities. Hey, remember it was like 19%? By all accounts, mortgage rates remain low, and along with the strong market are fueling the consumer-driven economy and boosting purchasing power, which will certainly support the housing market activity in the coming months, says Sam Cotter, Freddie Mac's chief economist. Still worsening affordability due to inventory.
How come you get the easy name?
We've been talking about continue to present hurdles for the housing market, Carter notes. The National Association of Realtors released a study this week showing how high home prices stymied job growth. Really?
Yeah.
That was the one that Clayton Fernando Schrems put in the Be More Contributors group.
Yes, and I think I took credit for it.
Yeah.
No, I think I put that one in there. He put the Remax one in there. Where's Clayton? Why isn't he here?
Where's Clayton?
Anyway, I did take credit for something he did, which
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think you said it was either him or me, but
yeah, I did. On the show, I went back and watched it. I'm like, dude, did I straight up?
Melissa Marr likes the word stymie, and David says margins are small at West. That's true.
Especially so, yeah. But imagine if you were the one builder, the only builder that built in a $350,000 price range in in California or in Southern California with a low HOA and no Melrose. You'd be sold out before you even started building them.
You'd be sold out, but you make like $1 a house.
Yeah, but you'd make like $350.
I'm putting these articles in the one we mentioned that we're not covering where home prices are dampening job growth. It's a pretty big opinion piece. And
we're
not really covering that one. It's just kind of.
Well, I didn't understand it. Because if the economy's strong and job growth is strong and wages are increasing and people are excited about spending money, I didn't understand it. Now, who was it? Someone made a really good point. Chris Murray. He made a really good point. He did make a good point. I wish I could bring that up, but he made a really good point. But I don't want to give him credit for anything because then his head will get too big.
Wow. So one of the things we have going on currently is that we are also rebroadcasting this on the RETV page. So if you're not a member of RETV, look up RE Space TV, and you'll see it's a group of real estate agents that are dedicated to video. And we may have some comments on there. I was getting pinged. If you are commenting on that one, be sure you click the Bearded Men of Real Estate show, and that way I can display your comments because I can't display them when they. I wish Facebook would fix this, but if you cross post something, you can't display those comments. So if you are commenting on the RETV thing, please comment, click, and come to the
actual. Yeah, because technically it's all live,
right?
But you're watching it through Facebook, not through Be Live. I don't know. It's silly.
Monica Law said, "Wowza." Clayton Weber said, "Who knew?"
So Chris isn't on, but his wife is, so she got to hear that comment. Hi, Drea. Yay! So that will get back to Chris. That's good.
Okay. So yeah, I was looking for it. I'll find it later. All right, you ready to go to the next article? That's a smooth transition.
Yeah, super. That's what we're good at. That people watch for our transitions. That's why they watch this.
Yeah.
So eliminating DTI, is this a good or a bad move? Now, if we get some comments on this, we can come back to it in the deep dive, or we can do a little shallow dive on it now.
This is the one where you tag your lender friends. I really want to know from lenders, what do you think about this eliminating the DTI requirement on QM lending rules?
Yeah, and I'll break down what QM is and all that stuff. So, all right,
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have to tell Ray what it is. Okay, over the last several months, a number of the nation's largest lenders and housing trade groups have called on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also known as the CFPB, to make changes to the ability to repay / qualified mortgage QM rule. More specifically, Bank of America, Quicken Loans, Wells Fargo, Caliber Home Loans, along with the Mortgage Bankers Association, the American Bankers Association, the National Fair Housing Alliance, and others asked the CFPB to do away with the QM rule's debt-to-income ratio requirement. So right now, it's capped at 43%. The basic thing the way I explain it to my clients is you can't have more going out than you have coming in. And then they capped that at 43%. And now it looks like they're going to get their wish. In a letter sent last week to several prominent members of Congress, the CFPB Director Kathy Kreninger said the Bureau has decided to propose an amendment to the QM rule that would, quote unquote, move away from DTI as a factor in mortgage underwriting. Specifically, Kreninger said the CFPB has decided to shift from the DTI standard and move to an alternative, bunny ears, such as a pricing threshold. That is the difference between the loan's annual percentage rate and the average prime offer rate for a comparable transaction. So they're trying to move away from DTI and towards an alternative. According to Kreninger, the proposed alternative would be intended, and this is another quote, intended to better ensure that responsible, affordable mortgage credit remains available to consumers. That's where I have questions. The ability to repay / qualified mortgage rule was enacted by the CFPB after the financial crisis and requires lenders to verify borrowers' ability to repay the mortgage before lending the money. Seems like a good idea, right? This includes a review of the borrower's debts and assets to ensure they have the ability to repay the loan, with a stipulation that their DTI ratio does not exceed 43%. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not bound to this requirement. A condition known as the QM patch was enacted for that one. Under the QM patch, loans sold to Fannie or Freddie are allowed to exceed the 43% DTI ratio. So I would love to hear thoughts on that. Now, okay, yeah.
If only we had a lender who could come into the show. I tagged several. I also tagged a new show out there that's kind of like the Bearded Men of Real Estate for lending, I would say. Mm-hmm. Blondes have more funds.
So good.
It's like Mara said, I don't like it. I feel like it would set people up to go under. And then she tagged Ashley and Michelle, which is
cool. I mean, this is essentially deregulation, or a portion of it, right?
Right. David said, got to find more ways for people to buy before all hell breaks loose. And then Ashley said, I love you guys. Oh, we love you too.
In all caps, by the way. With the only thing she's missing is the clapping hands in between each.
Yeah, clap your hand. Colin JJ Cameron says a QM patch. Not really, but I claps. It sounds good. Sounds like you're trying to kick tobacco.
They're trying to kick something.
Andrea said, never a lender around when you need one. Not true. We got a couple of them now that are joining the show.
She might be wink, wink, nudging to one of our transactions.
Oh, David said 2020 will be the year of the down payment assistance and hybrids alike.
I have a new buyer that just reached out to me today asking about down payment assistance. So
interesting. If only there was a way just to buy houses without a mortgage.
Yeah, like
some we're headed next, but some might call that a cash transaction.
I mean, maybe, whatever. It's the same thing with instant offers. Some people would call that an email.
But we actually have another service in which you can buy a home without a mortgage, and it's not cash. And we're going to be talking about that at the end of the show. And again, tag your lender friends. We'd love to know what they think about this plan that's on Fleck.
Ooh.
All right. So Fannie Mae.
You gotta drop it. You gotta drop it, Mike.
Drop Mike. Fannie Mae says low mortgage rates will boost prices. So we have prices that are not out of this world because they didn't come down, but price gains slowed, as we talked about previous shows. So price gains are slowing or have slowed.
But housing starts gained. Wait,
housing starts gained. More people can buy a home,
but gains slowed
than used to. But it says low mortgage rates will boost prices. But we also just talked about how mortgage rates are ticking. Well, we will be talking about how they may be ticking it. We did talk about it, right? Did we talk about that?
No, that was DTI.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this article from Housing Wire. It says 30-year fixed mortgage will likely average 3.7%, down from 3.9% in 2019. What was your prediction, Dan, at the end of the year?
3.5.
3.5. You need this to not be true to work for you. All right, Fannie Mae raised the forecast.
By the way, not to interrupt, but I'll take anything closer than the 2 points I was off last year. So
2 entire points you were off last year.
Not 0.2 points.
All right. Ashley Miller said DTI doesn't capture credit risk comprehensively. So a single variable, it's one-dimensional. So as a single variable, it's one-dimensional. They will tighten up on FICO and LTV, loan to value, and will predict ATR and the default ratios better than DTI.
I love that band ATR. They're good.
Yeah, the band. I love bands ATR. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about.
That is awesome.
It's so over my head. Fannie Mae's low mortgage rates will boost prices. So Fannie Mae raised its forecast, home price gains, saying the low mortgage rates and a strong labor market will pump up the jams, pump it up for properties.
Again, lots of stuff going up, and away on the show today.
Single family home prices will probably increase at 4.6% pace this year. Fannie Mae said in a forecast Tuesday. That compares with 4.1% advanced for 2020, and the mortgage giant predicted a month ago. So they've increased 0.4%. The forecast is based on the Federal Housing Financing Agency's home price index that measures single-family home purchased using conventional mortgages. Quote, this is Doug Duncan, Fannie Mae economist. Think about someone focused on the size of a payment they can afford. If you hold the size of the payment constant and interest rate component shrinks, that gives you some latitude to bid up prices. And that's what's happening. Price gains will push the volume of mortgage originations used for home purchases recorded to a record $1.37 trillion, Fannie Mae said. The average U.S. rate for a 30-year fixed probably will be 3.7%. I always read probably like that in articles because I think it's funny when they say probably.
Right. You can predict anything and go, well, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
3.7% in 2020 and 2021, according to the forecast. This compares with 3.9% in 2019 and 4.5% in 2018, Fannie Mae said. So then it talks about the labor market and all that jazz. I'm going to share this article with the Be More show now so that you can check out the details. So what's up?
Well, there's things happening. I have nightmare transaction.
Again, you should just drop them for an hour.
I know. All right. So we're going to deep dive this one. Should we deep dive it or should we cover it now?
We can skip it. You can go to the existing home sales.
Okay. Cause this article that we're going to talk about, it tells you how to buy a home with Fleck, and I'm still confused. So we're going to come back to that so stay tuned, because that one I want to have you guys help us decipher it. And then is it a good or bad idea is what it really comes down to.
Right.
Yeah, I'll skip it to, so existing home sales climb 3.6% in December.
Whoop, whoop.
So this is different than home starts, right? This is actually existing home sales. So resale. Yep. Washington, January 22nd, 2020. Dun, dun, dun. I love that. That's my favorite thing. Existing home sales grew in December, bouncing back after a slight fall in November, according to the National Association of Realtors. Remember, that's not to be confused with NAR, which is Ray and I's new National Association of Associated Realtors. Okay.
Right.
Where that's coming to an association near you. Although the Midwest saw sales decline, the other three major U.S. regions reported meaningful growth last month. Total existing home sales completed. Whoa! What are we doing? Total existing home sales completed transactions that include single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and co-ops increased 3.6% from November to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.54 million in December. Additionally, overall sales took a significant bounce up 10% from a year ago. Whoa. On a full year basis, total existing up and away. Total existing home sales ended at 5.34 million, the same level as in 2018, as sales in the South region, they were up. They offset declines in the West, which was down, and Midwest, which was down, as the Northeast remained unchanged. So it all kind of leveled itself out. Lawrence Yun, NAR's chief economist. By the way, we haven't talked about Con today. So Con. Lawrence Yun, NAR's chief economist, said home sales fluctuated a great deal last year. Now, this is a quote from him. I view 2019 as a neutral year for housing in terms of sales. Home sellers are positioned well, but prospective buyers aren't as fortunate. Low inventory remains a problem, with first-time buyers affected the most. Now, how could we remedy that, Ray? New construction in the lower price range.
Yeah, which everyone wants to do. For their heart, but no one wants to do out of the pocketbook.
If they would just not only listen to the show, but do what we recommended, and by they, I mean
$1 per home.
They would make $1 per home, but overall they'd make people happy. But not only would they fix everything, but they would be, loyal, devoted listeners to the show.
That's right.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, we got a
Ryan. Thank you.
Ryan Owen says, "Sweet ears." Doug Johnson says, "Hey guys." Hey Doug.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Elizabeth.
By the way, I think we missed I just want to say his last name. We missed a sup boys from Greg Sespaniak.
Oh no, I said it.
Okay. I just love saying his last name. And then Mike and Elizabeth Rodell said pew pew.
Who knows, really?
I think it's and or.
I'm pretty sure that if they're watching the show, it's Elizabeth, who's the realtor.
Yeah, Mike, he's out hugging strangers because that dude loves hugs.
Yep. Weekly mortgage applications pull back slightly after a strong start to 2020. Ooh. I'm confused in all.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates. This is from CNBC. Mortgage rates didn't move last week, and that took a little bit of steam out of the rush of new mortgages that started the year. Sorry. Total applications volume fell 1.2% last week from the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted index. Average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage with conforming loan balance, $510,400 or less, was unchanged, 3.87%, with points decreasing to 0.27%. Or without getting into the weeds, we have a quote. Even with more positive developments surrounding the U.S. and China, trade negotiations, and healthy retail sales data, investors seem cautious and maintain their demand for safer U.S. treasuries, which kept yields lower. Said who? Joel Kahn.
Yes!
Kahn! An MBA economist. Thank
you.
Mortgage Bankers Association economist, not the National Basketball Association. Our expectation, every time I hear NBA, I'm like, whoa. Actually, every time I say my name, hello, I'm Ray Allen, people are like, Ray Allen? I'm like, no, I'm not the famous basketball all-star. I'm just
start introducing yourself as Ray Allen from the NBA.
I may have already shared this on the show, but I did have a whole group of hotel people in the Dallas area that were sorely disappointed when I showed up to check into my room. They had all the gear and stuff in the back and wanted me to sign autographs. And then they realized, oh, this is Ray Ellen, not Ray Allen.
He's a little shorter.
They should have known by the cost of the hotel that I was going cheap. But maybe Ray, in his older age, is getting a little wise. All right, application to refinance the home fell 2% for a week, and we're 116% higher than a year ago. Let me read that one more time.
Well,
application to refinance fell 2% and was 116% higher than a year ago.
So wait, fell from when? Month over month?
Yeah.
But
month over month, 116% higher than last year.
But January
of
a year ago. So 100 means it's more than doubled, right?
Yeah. Refinance applications remain near the highest level since October 2019, as the 30-year fixed rate was unchanged 3.87.
We are the champions.
Wait. Mortgage applications to purchase a home also decreased 2%.
Oh.
But we're 8% higher than last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how we have to read it from now on.
Oh, Ashley said, but you are an all-star. Oh, thank you, Ashley.
Hey, now you are an all-star.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, you got to go back to Mike.
Elizabeth Rodell said, nope, Mike is here. And he does not like hugging strangers.
No,
she said we watch Be More Together. Oh, look at that. It's a date every Wednesday at 12-ish in Central Time. Melissa Mara said it's a show.
It isn't a show without Con.
Without that name, Con.
Joe Con.
Yeah, that's right. And Melissa Mara said, I mean, you are a champ. That is true. And then Doug Johnson chimes in with your Con. Dan, your faces are like the light bulb is going on.
Huh?
Your faces are like the light bulb is going on.
Oh.
All right. So you ready to deep dive this new way of buying a home without a mortgage?
Sorry, I almost just fell over. I'm on fire today, by the way. By the way, before we deep dive, I'm doing my best to not I want to lambast all of these agents live on my show and this lender. That's what I'd love to do on the show here. But
I think you were dealing with last week.
Yeah, same thing. Wow. Same thing. But it got worse yesterday. So anyway,
you have an international show that you can just mention them on and put them down globally.
And tag them in. You ready to go?
Yep, let's do
this. All right. So
Melissa Mara said, please don't hurt yourself.
I almost did. I literally almost fell over. So that'd be funny. Pull down, just fall back into New York from the 1950s. So here's an article that breaks down how to buy a home with Fleck.
Now this is buying a home without a mortgage.
Buying a home without a mortgage. So here's the actual title.
There's a different name for it though. Cash. This is not cash.
No. And remember, I don't remember the exact article or the company because there's a lot of them, but this is another startup and we like to bring up startups just so you guys know what's going on. You know, we're here to inform you. So you know the disruptors that are coming after you or trying to help you. And I truly believe this one's trying to help and trying to change the way people do things. It's just now in the contributors group, by the way, if you're not part of the Be More contributors, BMRE contributors with an exclamation point, we've only turned down one person, but they were from ISIS.
Yeah, it's true.
It said it on our profile. ISIS member. I'm like, oh yeah, we don't want to do that. So we had a conversation there with Dusty. She's in Arizona, I believe, and tuning in late, but I'm loving the ears. Ray has nice ears.
Thank you very much. Tim Macy of the Tim Macy Show, #whiteboxing, also said, buying a home without a mortgage, aka renting. Melissa Mara said, exactly.
Renting. Yeah, Dusty did say that it sounded like predatory lending, this next thing here. So I don't remember the company.
If we help promote them like Housing Wire is doing, maybe they will mention us on their Twitter feed, as you guys can see on the screen there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a mention.
We'll get a shout out. By the way, we neither promote nor non-promote people. We just talk about stories so you guys know. We're merely informational. So
we couldn't promote if paid enough.
So we could promote if you guys paid us up. So when Spotify blocks this later, they shouldn't be blocking this. Anyway. And I don't remember the company, but there was where you essentially buy it and rent back. And this seems like that, but it's a little more detailed. So here's how to use Fleck to buy a home without a mortgage.
Okay.
So you asked and we answered. A Pittsburgh startup company is introducing a new way to look at homeownership, and it's creating quite a stir. Fleck launched saying it could get Americans into a home without requiring a mortgage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, if you want to throw the article, do you have it? You have it in there. You want to throw it in there just so people can follow along if they choose?
Yep. It's also on the screen. I got it on the screen for us too.
Oh yeah, cool. Because there's actually a Q&A if you guys are seeing that. I'm reading along as well. We didn't think. Now this is he's the CEO. That's Todd Scherer. He's the CEO of Fleck. We didn't think that mortgages were the appropriate and fair approach to homeownership, and we didn't think it resonated with millennials and Gen Zers who saw their parents wiped out by the financial crisis.
Interesting.
Then his background is in real estate finance.
I would agree with him so far.
So the company started its own home ownership model. Now you can check out the first round of Q&A that goes on in the article. But even after this, many questions went unanswered. So Housing Wire sat down, blah, 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 blah. So now, Ray, if you want to scroll through.
Okay.
So it's got literally Housing Wire asks a question, Todd Scherer responds. Now, here's the breakdown. Do you see buy a house with Jane?
Yeah.
This is the stuff I want to read through. So Jane finds her dream house and it costs $200,000. She creates a partnership with Fleck called an alliance, and the partnership purchases the home.
Like
the amount of
an LL limited liability partnership.
Yeah, or
like a business partnership that they both own interest in this property.
Or kind of like a REIT, right?
Right. But it's just for one single property.
Right. Real estate investment trust is what I mentioned, REIT. Right. The amount of Jane's initial equity contribution to the partnership, or how much of the home she will own at the time it is purchased, is based on a review of Jane's credit history. Fleck expects that someone's initial equity contribution will be between 3 and 8%. For the purposes of this example, let's say that Jane makes a 5% initial equity contribution, or $10,000. Remember, on a $200,000 home.
Okay.
Fleck might set up the partnership with, and I like it that it's might. They might set up the partnership with 20,000 equity units, which would be valued at $10 per share based on the $200,000 purchase price.
Right.
Jane would initially own 1,000 units in the partnership.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right. So she's got 1,000 shares.
By the way, if Ashley's still on here and Lender's on here, this affects you guys. If they, this is essentially they're trying to do it without a loan. So this affects you guys. So I'd love to hear your opinions on this one. Okay. What does this mean for Jane? This is where it starts going sideways a little bit to me. It means that Jane owns 5% of her home.
Okay.
And good, right? Yep. And she will be responsible for paying her ownership share of the costs of owning the home, which is also kind of cool.
So 5% taxes, 5% homeowners insurance, 5%.
Yes. Repairs,
utilities.
I don't know. It doesn't say utilities. It says repairs, and then Fleck will pay 95%. So,
okay,
if you have to get something done on the home that costs $1,000, they're going to cover 95% of that potentially, right?
Okay,
or theoretically. It's important to note that Jane owns 5% of the house's equity versus $10,000 of the house. If the value of the home goes up, so does the value of her 5% ownership. Right. If the value of the home goes down, so does the value of that same ownership. Okay. Right. So similar to owning.
So Jane, far I'm following.
Yes. Jane's 5% ownership of the partnership that owns her dream home does not automatically give Jane the right to inhabit the property.
Did you hear that? Wait.
So everything was cool, right?
She owns 5% of a partnership that owns the dream house.
Yes, following.
Okay. She doesn't necessarily have the right to live there.
So everything was cool, and then they're like, wah, wah. Okay. Jane, and it takes another turn. Jane signs a lease. What did hashtag whiteboxing just say?
95% of the partners.
Yes. What did hashtag whiteboxing just say?
I don't know.
He said buying a home without a mortgage is called renting.
I'll put it up there so we can get the quote. Buying a home without a mortgage, aka renting.
Yes. Jane signs a lease with the partnership to inhabit the home. At this point, another benefit of the FLEC model emerges. Jane does not have to pay herself rent as part owner. She only has to rent the portion of the home
of the rent that she doesn't own.
She only has to rent the portion of the home that she does not own. In our example, if market rent for the home was $1,000 a month.
What if I just stayed in 5% of the property?
Right. I only used this corner.
Isn't that what it says? She only has to rent the portion of the home she doesn't own. So I'm not.
No.
She
has to rent the 95%.
Yeah, but I'm going to make my 5% the kitchen, and I'm going to put a bed in the kitchen,
right,
and have access to the kitchen from the garage. So I guess I need the garage and the kitchen. And that's
you can get an easement.
This is weird.
Okay, so
keep going. That's obviously not what they meant, but that's what it sounds like. Okay.
Jane does not have. Okay, so in our example, if market rent for the home was $1,000 a month, Jane's monthly rental payment would be $950 because she's only renting the portion that is owned by FLEC.
Okay.
Okay. Also, this is not a standard lease. Jane, as part owner, gets the right to paint and decorate and have 10 cats if she wants.
Oh, wow.
Simply put, it keeps getting better. Simply put, Jane is a renter without all the restrictions that are normally placed upon renters, and maybe best of all, since she is part owner, she does not have to pay a security deposit to the landlord. So wait.
Many things. So it says, okay, it says earlier that she's only paying 5% of the taxes. She's only paying 5% of the insurance. But she's only paying 5% of the HOA.
Repairs, yes.
Right. Then she rents it out. Now, what do we know about rent figures? Dan, what's included in a monthly rent that a landlord is charging?
Well, there's usually a security deposit. There's usually any repairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? What am I missing?
Taxes.
Yeah.
So really...
Wait, so if she's only paying 5% of the taxes, she's paying the other 95%.
Now she has to pay 5% of the taxes because she owns 5% of the home. So she's going to get charged from the partnership 5% of her taxes.
But then she's covering the taxes in that other 95%.
Then she's covering more taxes than 95% of the. What? How? Where? How? Is there a way for her to gain?
There's more. Okay.
Melissa Marr said, so let's just say FLEC is a property management company and you rip from them. Let me get to some of these comments. Mike Elizabeth Burdell, my boomer parents have long since recovered from the financial crisis. That's a good point. Andrew Murray said, sounds like a train wreck. Melissa Marr said, Jane just got screwed. Don't be Jane. Michael Elizabeth said, not having the right to live there would allow for easier foreclosure. Wow. Good point.
Can we call that shade? I want to call that one shade.
We can call that one shade. Brought to you by insert sponsor here.
Thank you.
Melissa Marr said an easement to the bathroom. Yes. Monica Law said, what a scam. Paige Lewin said, don't be like Jane.
Poor Jane. Usually it's a Karen or a Susan.
That would have been hilarious if they said, let's take Karen, for example. Yeah. Okay, so wait. This is not a standard lease, though, right? Isn't there a way for Jane to increase her equity position so that she can pay more of the taxes and insurance on her own instead of paying them through her rental agreement?
Okay, now let's say Jane decides she wants to have a bigger equity stake in the home. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're asking?
Happens to be.
During the first year of ownership, Jane can buy as many equity units in the partnership as she wants for $10 per share. At the end of each year, the partnership will get a new value for the property. If the property value goes up, the value of your ownership stake goes up, as does the price at which she can buy more equity. Conversely, if the price of the home goes down, her equity may lose value, but she can purchase more equity at the lower price. So if Jane purchases more equity, the next month, the amount of rent she pays decreases and the percentage of ownership cost increases. So That
Okay. So a mortgage charges you 3.6% currently.
right now, today.
Average appreciation over any 10-year period, except for one 10-year period in history, your appreciation of a home has averaged 3%
Gains. Yes.
So on average, if you keep a home for 30 years, you pay an ungodly amount in interest, but you wind up selling it for that amount mathematically. Question. This is like dollar cost averaging on stocks that only go up. Right? Are you familiar with so a dollar cost average is what a good investor will tell you to do. You have $100 to invest. Instead of investing $100 on day one, do $10 a month for 10 months, and you kind of dollar cost average, and you catch the downs, you catch the ups, and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to, I wouldn't say it's an aggressive. I would say it's the opposite of aggressive. It's just kind of a way to invest in the market, and you dollar cost average, and slowly but surely your interest goes up as the market goes up because you're buying low. You're kind of dollar cost averaging. This sounds like, because real estate, we've not said since we've started the show that home prices are decreasing. We said that price gains have slowed. So this will allow someone who can't afford a home to enter into a partnership agreement to own a portion of a home that then if they want to own more of the home, they have to pay more over time for.
And by the way, it says 3 to 8%. So no one's ever going to bring in 20% in this ownership. And I wonder if Fleck would even allow that.
Interesting.
You understand what I'm saying?
I missed that part.
Oh, so back at the top, it's based on a review of Jane's credit history. Fleck expects that someone's initial equity contribution will be between 3 and 8%.
That's initial though, but they can buy more over time, and that's when it continues to go up. The price of the property is going up, and you probably also have to pay for the appraisal fee every year.
Every year when they revalue
shares that year.
So, but now my question: if I'm buying essentially a stock for $10 a share, so
Tim Macy said Mike knows what's up.
He does. He just doesn't like hugs from strangers or me. Thanks, Mike.
Melissa Mara said, can we just say no to all of this? It's a bad idea.
Yes. Bad. So if I own 5%.
Yep.
Because I put $10,000 down on a $200,000 house.
Unless you sign the tenant agreement with yourself.
No, because I'm renting from myself, but only for that 5%.
Right.
But I can buy more equity for $10 a share.
Right.
Why don't I get a small loan to? Well, it wouldn't matter. I'd never own it, even if I bought.
You're missing the point, Dan. You're trying to buy a house with a loan. This is how to buy a house without a loan.
But I want to own the house.
Why would you want to do that?
Fleck owns the house.
You already own the house. It's 5% of it.
Why is
you own it? You can have 10 cats and paint whatever colors you want.
Oh, well, okay. Hey,
so what part of ownership do you actually need if you can paint it whatever color you want and have 10 cats?
By the way, you can do that in a rental. Just paint it back and get rid of the cats.
What? No, I mean, then you don't own it, though.
But I don't with Fleck either.
You do. You own the partnership that owns your home. This is simple, Dan. This is simple.
I own the alliance. They created an alliance. So I own a portion of the alliance.
They call it an alliance, which is that's exactly how people get voted off the island. As soon as you form the alliance, you're gone. Okay. Everyone knows that. It's the loaner that plays both sides that wins.
That's what's going to happen. They're going to vote you off your own island.
And they can, because they own 95% of your house. Actually, they own 100% of your house as the partnership. And then they have a 95% interest in that partnership that owns the home. Okay. So how do you buy it? You can get approved with a credit approval or a home approval. That sounds a lot like a loan.
Yes.
They probably have less stringent. There's another way to buy a home without a loan, which would be a lease to own, rent to own, or owner financing.
You have to sell or carries, right?
Melissa Mara said, Alliance, it's allegedly the way to, quote, buy a house. Tim Macy said, I see this going really bad for Fleck. Most of these tech startups have never dealt with hoarders.
That's a big one right there.
That's true. I want to create a hoarder tech startup now that only deals with hoarders.
Or what about if someone bought in their 5% and then just stopped paying them and then just stayed there for 6 months and tried to do the transient move-in rule?
All right. Well, I'm going to do what I normally do when I have a brilliant idea on the Bearded Men of Real Estate show. I check to see if the domain is available.
Wait, what's the domain? Alliance-to-buy-a-house.com?
Almost. Hang on. If it's available here.
Live web search.
Ooh, it is available for $3,000.
Ooh.
Hoarder.io. That sounds like a tech startup dealing with hoarders. All right. Anyway. Okay. Any more thoughts on Fleck?
No, I just
there's more steps. I mean, they do get pre-approved, form an alliance, buy a house, move in if your rental agreement allows.
Yep.
Y'all can check out more on the article. Do you have anything to add to the Fleck situation?
No, I just wanted clarity on it, and this didn't help at all.
I think it did, Dan. I think we said that you own a partnership, 5% of it, that owns 100% of your house. So therefore, you are a roundabout owner of a company that owns your home. And so that means you can have 10 cats and paint, as they said.
And you're also paying rent on that thing you own.
Well, only 95% of what the normal renter would pay.
And all of the taxes through the 5% and the 95%.
Only 5% of what, so it's essentially like 100%, some could say.
Possibly. If the math checks out, yes.
Which 5% plus 95% sounds like 100%.
Allegedly.
It also sounds like a local investor that's trying to come up with some kind of thing. And
right. Yeah. This is just a new pretty look for We Buy Ugly Houses.
I could see this being a 1-page doc with 6-point font.
So look at that question right there.
Melissa Mara said, can an outsider buy into the partnership and kick you out? I mean, you only owe 5%. Well, you only own 5%. Yeah. I would say, based on how I know partnerships work, it kind of depends on the partnership agreement, but there is probably a portion in there. There's also probably a portion in there that says if the partners have to add a bunch of money to this thing because of something that happened, if you don't add your share of the money, they take over your side of the equity.
So, yeah, what if someone came in and said, I'll give you $11 a share to buy more equity than she owns?
That's a good question. Partnerships here. Andrea Murray said, can each of the cats put down 3 to 8%?
Yeah, then you're at 80%.
Yeah. I would say.
So my big question, cats nowadays have good equity. So they've built up quite the portfolio. My two have. So my biggest question is, will they, like, what's the end game? Do you eventually buy enough stocks where you own you slowly get there over time as you save money and live there, like a lease to own thing?
What happens is the value of your home increases on average 3% every year.
Yeah.
So this year you could buy most of your home for $10. Next year you'll have to pay $10.30, right? Is that okay? Whatever the math is, I don't know, 3%. Yeah. Maybe it's, I don't know. I think
$10.03, so whatever.
$10.30. So the next year is $10.60. The next year is $10.90. What someone else can do the math.
Right.
So you can slowly purchase more of your home, but every year costs you more to purchase more of your home.
Kind of like having an interest rate on your mortgage.
It's kind of like having an adjustable interest rate on your mortgage.
It's even better.
It goes up as a percent.
But could go down, but then you lose the value. Then your stock decreases essentially.
But that would be the win, right? You enter into a Fleck agreement right before the market crashes.
Yeah.
That's what everyone needs to do.
And then buy all the shares at $2.
Buy all the shares at $2 the next year and be like, see you later. I'm on Fleck.
I'm totally Fleck. All right. And on that unfortunate note,
Dan, where can everyone find you? Do you have a pick of the week? I don't have a pick of the week. Y'all need to order shirts. I'll put the phone sites in there real quick. We're about to do a final order of this run. The next shirts won't look like this. So if you want one of these shirts, put in an order.
These are the OG. You get to say that you're part of the OG. So here's the thing.
I'm gonna say we're gonna put in probably the final order February 1. And if you've ordered shirts and have not received it, we do have yours. Don't worry about it. So February 1.
Next show, we're gonna remind you.
It's the last opportunity. Yep.
That's it. So you get a week to buy your shirt. So listen. There are costs. We love giving the show to you. There are costs available to this, and we're trying to step up our game even more, and there are more costs because of that.
Yeah, I just bought a cool gadget to do audio stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that we were talking about that we can't talk about yet.
Yes.
There are costs. So please support us. Both Ray and I hate doing this.
Monica said, Monica Laws, glad I tuned in. You're too fun. Oh, you're fun. Thanks. So, if I hate doing it, we mean hate asking for money. We don't ask for money. We ask for support the show.
Support. We love asking. We want you. We love doing the show. We would love if you guys would support us. Both of us are the same way. You know, we're like, because when we talked about earlier, we're like, well, what do we do? How do we ask for this or that? So let's do shirts. So please go buy a shirt. It helps support the show, and it helps to all the big things that we have planned for this year. So
true, Dad.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you, D?
D Ludwig Rocks, DLUDWIGROCKS everywhere. Go follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm finding the cool things and posting the cool things. And then I'm posting more on Twitter too, all my snarkiness. And if you want to find me on Twitter, it's different. It's called D Ludwig Rocks, DLUDWIGROCKS.
Let me hear. Let me change it. There you go.
There you go. Nice work. Quick.
D Ludwig Rocks. You can find me everywhere at Ray Zorback. That's RAYZORBACK. Everywhere good Razorbacks are sold.
And be more thongs. Yes.
Melissa Mara said, I need more color options. Well, we are going to get more color options and probably a slightly different looking shirt. But that is going in the next run. This is the last run, the blue and gray with our logos on there. So hopefully we'll do another run probably about March. We'll probably do a pretty fun run that'll extend until the end of April. I've got a new way of ordering that too, which is going to be a lot easier. And I can't wait for you to see all this stuff. Tim Macy said, be more things. Yes, there will be more things coming.
Also, he said thongs, by the way.
Also, thongs. I thought he said things. Yeah, that's definitely thongs. We could do thongs. We could do a run of thongs.
Yep. Why not?
It kind of depends on the size. I think we could fit both of our faces on Tim's thong. I don't know about everybody else's.
Hey-o, Shade of the Week brought to you by sponsor here.
Hey, Zorback. All right, well, thanks for joining the show, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Click.